Hey everybody, Adam Reposvox here, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Fleximounts M03 or M03 10 to 27 inch desktop monitor mount. Now, since I had to install the mount and use it with a monitor in order to test it and review it, and that was a kind of pain in the butt process, we're not going to have much B-roll of the mount itself. Now this is a pretty cool desktop mount from Fleximounts. It is obviously very flexible. That's kind of the intended nature or audience of it. Now this is a standard 100 by 100, or it will support 75 by 75 standard VESA mount. It'll support up to 5 kilograms and 10 to 27 inch monitors. It does either clamp onto your desk or screw into your desk to attach. So you must have a desk that you can either clamp it onto on the back or screw it into. This is where I ran into my first problem. My desk is up against the wall in an L shape. Not at all ideal for these kinds of desktop mounts. But I knew that going into this. I didn't just get it and be like, oh, I can't use it. I saw it when I talked to Fleximounts about the review unit. I noticed that, hey, this is going to be a problem and a challenge that I have to overcome. But let's see if I can do it with the mount. The answer? Yes, I could. The whole process took about an hour or so, though most of that was me trying to figure out different ridiculous ways I could attach it to my desk without being able to without screwing into the desk, because like I said, it does have a clamp style connection, which has a little cup that you screw up and clamps onto your desk, which is, to me, seemed like it'd be a much more secure method anyway. Or you can screw it into your desk, but it also requires that you drill a hole through and run a rod through, which also has a cup that comes up and clamps to it that way, but it does screw into your desk, that way nothing goes on the back. In theory, screwing it into my desk would have been better without that, but I didn't feel like drilling yet another hole in my desk because I already have 2 wire management holes and I have 2 boom arms for microphones screwed into my desk as is. Despite how long it took, the installation process was actually pretty straightforward. You undid the arm, picked which mounting option you wanted, attached it to your desk, put the monitor on, and you were good to go. Adjust it however you like. It even comes with a little cable management pocket that you can run some wires through. Speaking of which, in the box you get 2 USB 3.0 cables, as the base of the monitor mount has a USB hub in it for 2 USB extensions. It's not really a hub per se, it's just extensions from USB ports either on your computer or on a hub that you have. It has 2 outlets on the bottom of the monitor mount, and it has 2 USB 3.0 cables that you can route out the bottom of the mount's base to plug into your computer or a hub, etc. Has the various mounting hardware, twist ties, extra plates, things like that. Has the cable management panel that goes on the underside of one of the arm pieces, that way you can run cables up through it and not have to grossly like rubber band them to it or something. You have a nice little panel that actually comes off and you put the wires through it. It can only support so many wires because it has a preset thickness, but it works for me. You also get the mounting hardware for the clamp and the screw-in mounts. You get bags of nuts and bolts and a little Allen wrench, and of course the arm itself. I did get it working with my desk by using a 2.5 inch hard drive as a spacer, but the clamp was actually too big for my desk. Now, I don't think it intended to be, but with the way it was set up, that was the only way I could run it. It has 3 different levels of holes, which I can't exactly show you. Maybe I'll use MS Paint and draw you a diagram or something. It has 3 levels of holes that you can screw the bottom half of the clamp into, and that determines the height of the clamp that you have. And it goes very, very huge. Like, you could clamp this sucker to a slab of concrete. However, I have a like 1/2 inch thick MDF wood desk, and it was a little too big for that. Granted, I was on the 2nd level of holes, but I could not actually effectively, with my desk up against the wall, screw into the first set of holes for the smallest clamp. So I ran it up against my desk as much as possible, and I had just barely enough space, or I had just a small tiny gap above my desk. So I did use an old dead 2.5 inch laptop hard drive to space it up. But even with, adding in that extra bit of ghetto rigging, the monitor mount is still pretty sturdy. And that's what impressed me the most about this. I've never personally heard of Fleximounts. They're one of those companies that has a couple different rebrands, which often means that they're really cheap products or whatever. This monitor mount is sturdy. I even accidentally, when I was doing the cable management for the monitor, I accidentally slipped and put my weight on the monitor. It's up a good foot or so off the ground, and using 2 different arms to mount it, and I had put my hand on the top of the monitor, and while it did, put the arm back down where I had it adjusted up higher, it didn't bend the arm didn't go flying, nothing like that. The monitor held, and granted I don't weigh a whole lot, it still supported my weight, which was very impressive. It's also very, as the company name would suggest, flexible. It has a bunch of different swivel options. You can do full 180 degree swivel. You can do negative 85 to 15 degree tilt back and forth. So if you brought it up in front of you, you could actually tilt it up under, like at an upward angle for you. I'm not sure entirely where you'd use this. Maybe like a touchscreen scenario where you have like a little touchscreen that you bring over and tap on. But that is something that they showed in the product demo. And then there's actually 2 arms to the arm. This is really hard to explain without video. It has 2 arms to the arm that actually gives you full 360 degrees rotation. You have 2 different levels of rotation. So I have the arm with the bottom part of the arm pointing this way and the top part of the arm pointing the other way. That way I have the arm actually mounted up in a corner of my desk. But then the monitor is actually flat and level with my main monitor as a side monitor, but I can also move it up and out of the way however I like and keep readjusting the size, and it holds where it's at. It actually has 2 different joints at which you can use the Allen wrench to strengthen or loosen the joint tension. That way you can make it more movable to your liking or have it set. I want it in this place and I want it to not move ever again. The USB 3.0 ports I see could be useful, however I don't actually have like my computer close enough to run them. They're a pretty good length size cord. I think they're about like 3 feet or so, but I don't have anywhere to run it because it's not close to my computer. And frankly, the whole point of me using the monitor mount where I have it is it's totally off in a corner of my desk behind everything. So I can't actually reach them to plug anything in. But I have a second idea for for that monitor mount that I'd like to use for a separate project in which those USB ports would be extremely useful. So if that's a feature that just about anybody could use. I can't tell you more about the project for now. I gotta wait to see if I can get the money for the parts first, but it's gonna be an actual like creation building project for tech stuff. So be sure to subscribe to look forward to crazy, mysterious awesomeness later on. I would, however, like to see a bit more cable management options on the arm. You obviously have the panel on the bottom, which allows you to run a couple cables through the bottom of the arm via the detachable panel, but that's it, and it doesn't have that thick of a hole. And while you can, since the panel is detachable, you can run the cables up under it and then put the panel on and fit a bit more than you would if you just had to somehow fit the cables through a hole. It didn't provide that much help for me. I would like, I don't know, I'm thinking of the little like curly hooks that could run along the back side of it or something, to where I could hook a cord in and just have it run along the side of the arm. That way it doesn't get in the way of any of the mechanisms for maneuvering the arm, but still hold a couple cords. I'm not entirely sure what the solution is, as obviously this is a movable arm and you don't want cords to be tangled up in the joints. But I felt like cable management wasn't enough for me. That being said, since it is in the back corner of my desk and out of the way, I had absolutely no problem just wire tying some cables and rubber banding them to the arm itself once I got it in the position that I desired. Overall, I definitely enjoyed my experience with the Fleximount M03 monitor mount, and it's certainly going to be very useful to have my second monitor up off my desk, and I was very excited to have it. I posted to Instagram and stuff because that corner of my desk has always been taken up by my old monitor stand for that monitor, which has this huge, like it doesn't have a big circular base, but it has 2 arms coming off of it that it's got like a upside down V base, and it just takes up so much desk space. And to keep it at the height I wanted, I had to have it on top of a giant headset box. And so basically that entire corner of my desk was taken up. By using the monitor mount, that entire like half of my desk feels so much more freer, and I can keep so much more on my desk. Granted, that means it's more cluttered, but I can actually make use of the space a bit better, which I absolutely love. So that is it for me. I'm sorry there wasn't much B-roll. Like I said, it's hard to get a video of something that you had to install in a hidden spot on your desk, but here you go. I definitely like the monitor mount, and they make a few other different ones which are pretty affordable, and from what I can tell, they'd be very useful depending on your setup. So if you don't just have one monitor you want, or you want a different style, they actually have plenty of multi-monitor mounts and things like that. So link will be in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, leave us a comment telling us why. And be sure to check out our Patreon page where you can support us via monthly contribution in the support links in the description below. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. My name's been Adam, or =Fox. Bye-bye.